What's going on, everybody? It's Cousins Fishing, back at it again with another mediocre video. And today, we are back after a long break. But the good news is life has settled down a little bit, and I'm gonna get back into fishing. I've actually signed up for a few tournaments this year too, so I'm definitely back, and I'm gonna, try to make some good fishing videos. Today we're just going to start out with a rod and reel arsenal video. I've already started fishing a little bit. I actually just moved recently. I'm about 5 minutes from my favorite lake, so I'm going to be fishing a ton this year, and I'm going to show you guys what I'll be fishing with. A lot has changed since the last video, but go ahead and stick around because I think a lot of people like to stick with one brand when it comes to rods and reels. That's not me. I like to mix it up. So I like to think I have a little bit of something for everybody, even from budget to, mid to higher end stuff. So stick around and let's check out my 2024 rod and reel arsenal. I guess we can start out with cranking stuff. I don't really know where to start. I've got everything from like $100 rods to like $300 rods. So I guess we'll start kind of in the middle somewhere. This is my square bill rod for the year. I throw 1.0, 1.5 in like the Spro 50 millimeter square bills. I forget what they're called. But anyway, I throw those on this rod. This is a 7-1 cranking rod. It's the Defy Black, or I'm sorry, it's the 1.3 Envy Black. It's version 3. I got this not too long ago. I've caught a few fish on it already though. It's a really good rod. It's a really solid rod. I'm not a big 1.3 fishing guy just because their rods feel really production to me. But this one, for whatever reason, I love 1.3 cranking rods. This one is a very nice one. Luckily, you can find them on sale in a lot of places. I think they might be discontinuing them. We found them for like $100 at our local fishing show. But it's a great overall crankbait square bill rod. I've got it paired up with the SLX DC it's the 150 HG, so it's like the 7.2 to 1 gear ratio. I've got 10-pound line on it, so but overall, love the rod, love the reel. The cork on this is, I don't know if you can see that, but they labeled it as Portuguese cork, and it is very nice. It feels great, and I'm looking at it now. There's very little filler in it, so I think it's going to hold up for a long time. But I really like this setup. I recommend it. Probably comes in right around $350 for the rod and reel combo, but I feel like you can definitely find it cheaper, especially with the rod. It's on sale everywhere. I don't know what to say. So let's move on to the next one. All right, so I guess I'll show my absolute favorite rod in my arsenal right now. This is the Dobyns Sierra 701C. So this is their 7-foot, it's their BFS rod, but okay, ultra finessed is what they call it. It's a 7-foot light fast action rod, and this thing is insane. I've caught so many fish on this combo. Like, you can see the cork is falling apart. I've used this thing for 2 years now, and I've put it through the ringer, and it's held up. It is awesome. I love this thing so much. That being said, the cork is starting to fall apart, so maybe I'll end up filing a claim and trying to get a new one. We'll see. But I love this rod so much. Not even for, like, right now I have a tiny crankbait on there, but like I'll throw anything on this rod, especially now that I have it paired up with braid. It does really well for like 1/8 ounce guppy head swim baits, I guess, with a 2.8 Keitech on the back. This thing is killer for that. I've caught so many fish on that rig last year. It was insane. But I've got this paired up with a KastKing, I don't even know, Zephyr, I guess is how you say it. KastKing Zephyr. And I'm going to be honest with you, I hate KastKing as a brand. I feel like they're cheap. But this reel, I'm very surprised because it's held up so long and it's held up through so many fish, and it hasn't given me any issues at all. So the rod, 10 out of 10 recommend. If you don't have a BFS rod, you need to pick up this Sierra 701C. it's insane. Like, it's crazy. You catch so many more fish when you downsize. I love it. Even yesterday, I tore him up on this combo right here on this little crankbait. It's amazing. So 10 out of 10, recommend the rod. The reel's actually pretty solid too. I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. So, and it's like a $60 reel, so it's awesome. Next, we have a lot bigger of a rod. This is the 7.6 Falcon Lowrider. Falcon Lowrider. It's called the Cranker 2. So it's a 7.6 medium heavy, and the action is flex, moderate, fast. I don't know what that means. I'm pretty sure it's a composite rod. I think I was reading online, it's like a mixture. So it's like glass and graphite, so it's like a composite mix. But this thing is awesome too. Like, I know I'm saying all these rods are awesome, but I've gone through so many rods and I've returned so many rods, and it's just like, I feel like I have it dialed down to the best rods, or at least the best rods for how I like to fish. But this rod is, I mean, it's crazy how light this rod is. I picked it up in Academy. I went to Academy looking for a Dobyns Cadence 735 because it said they had one in stock, but they didn't. So I was just looking around the store, and they had one of these sitting in the corner, and I picked it up, and I'm like, how in the world have I never even tried a Falcon rod? Like, that was the first time I picked a Falcon rod up and put it in my hands, and this thing is insanely light. And I love the action on this thing. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do this without hurting myself, but the action on this is like insane. Like, it's got so much tip, but then it hits the backbone, and it's like, it's awesome. I love this rod so much. I'm throwing this this Bomber fat-free fingerling. It's a very cheap crankbait, but I catch them all the time at my local lake on this thing. This dives to like 12 feet, and this rod handles it no problems at all. It's a great rod, and I think it was only like 130 bucks for a crankbait rod with an all cork handle. This cork feels awesome. It tucks right under my armpit when I'm cranking. This rod, I can't talk enough good things about this rod. And then the reel is also very, very nice. It is the Shimano Scorpion 150 MGL. Again, I think I got it off of Amazon for like 150 bucks. It's the 2019 version, so it's a little older, but it's still the MGL spool, and it's still very light, and it still throws these crankbaits a mile. So it's just a great combo. It's a great setup. I'm very, very happy with it, and I'd recommend it to everybody. For like, you could probably get this around $250 if you were looking at sales, and it's a great mid to deep diving crankbait setup for that price point. Next up, we have my flipping rod. This is the 765, so it's the Dobyns KD 765 flip. It's a 7'6" medium heavy flip rod, but this is like, if it wasn't in the flip series, it would definitely be like a heavy or an extra heavy, because this thing is stiff. It's not the lightest rod in the world. It's not the most sensitive rod in the world, but it gets the job done. Like I said, I've always said, because I've owned multiple Cadence, I feel like the lineup is a little overpriced for the sensitivity that you get. But like I said, it gets the job done. I can still flip like 3/8 to ½ ounce weights around wood with this, which is what I use it for. And I catch fish on it. So it's not that big of a deal. Yeah, like I said, the rod is just okay. I've got this paired up with the old Curado 200XG. This is the one that they're actually getting rid of. I forget what they call. Oh, it's the Curado K. So I've got that extra high gear ratio Curado K on this. I spooled it up with 17-pound fluoro. Might go up to 20, but 17's been doing okay so far. But yeah, the rod, I'd probably give it like a 7.5 out of 10. The reel's like a 9 out of 10. It's a great reel. So I was gonna show you this next rod, but it just started pouring rain. So we might close the garage. Let's try closing the garage. I guess the lighting's not too terrible. Uh, yeah, so let's move on. This is the, speaking of finesse, I think we were just talking about finesse. This is the Dobyns Champion XP 732 SF. So it's the Champion 7.3 medium light, basically. This rod is actually very nice. I don't know if it's worth $290. I didn't pay $290 for it or whatever it retails at. I definitely got it on sale, but this was probably more like a $220 rod. I'd probably say it's like, it would be a toss-up if I bought this or a Zodia spinning rod. If it were up to like this or an X-Pride, you have to go X-Pride for that price point. But this is a very, very nice quality spinning rod. I've been throwing a little 1/8 ounce Ned rig that you can see right there, and I've caught a handful of fish on it. This is still a new rod, but I've caught a handful of fish on it already, and it's handled fish very well. It's definitely softer than my Zodia spinning rod that I used to have. It's just, you know, it's a Dobyns thing. They're always going to be softer than everybody else. But they make up for it like with good quality, because these have nice quality Fuji guides, nice quality reel seat, full cord handle. So I'm happy with it. I'll run with it for the season, and if I don't like it, I'll get rid of it. But as of right now, I think it's definitely a good rod. I just think it's a little overpriced for what it is. The Shimano Miravel, I have the 2500 Shimano Miravel on this. Killer reel. I can't say enough great things about this reel. It's got a very smooth drag. It's very lightweight. It's got the NGL spool. Shout out to my buddy Logan. He's the one that talked me into such a nice reel. But I agree. He's always told me they're like great quality for the price point. And I agree. I think it's definitely a great reel for $130. I don't think you can go wrong. I think it's definitely a step up from the Shimano Noski. Next up, I'm going to go with the Shimano Zodius 7.2 medium heavy. I got this paired up with the Daiwa Tatula 100XS, which is the 8.1 gear ratio Tatula. This combo is like out of this world. I got the reel on clearance for like $140 or something like that. And I got the rod from somebody on Facebook for like $170. So for like a $300-ish combo, this thing is like killer. I cannot believe how sensitive this old X-Pride is. I can't imagine how they could make it better and keep the price the same, but they did. So, you know, we'll get to that in a second. But this combo, like, there's nothing else to say. It's a very, very nice Daiwa reel paired up with a very, very nice Shimano rod. And it's my medium heavy rod. It's go-to for like flipping the small creature bait, spinnerbait, chatterbait, anything. Like, it's just my go-to. I pick this thing up and I can just go to any lake and catch fish. It's awesome. The sensitivity on this rod is like out of this world. I don't know what else to say. It's just that good of a combo. If you don't have an X-Pride and you can afford an X-Pride, you're really missing out. Like I said, if it was between this and like a Champion from Dobyns, like, it's no brainer I'd go X-Pride. It's just so much better. Next up is another killer combo. This is the 7.2 heavy Shimano X-Pride paired with the Shimano Curado DC 200 HG. So killer. And this is the X-Pride B with the monocoque handle. This thing is like ridiculously light. This rod is very, very light, which is why I felt comfortable putting the little bit of a heavier DC on it, because the combo itself is still, you know, very manageable. This is my frog rod for the year. If you guys watch my videos, I throw a lot of frogs, especially in the summertime and like late summer. I throw a lot of frogs. So this rod is gonna get a ton of use this year. And I'm very excited. I actually haven't used this rod yet. I just got the reel in the mail yesterday. I got it off of eBay. Apparently you can find Curado DCs for like $170 now on eBay. It came from Japan too. So yeah, everything's cheaper in Japan. But I also got the rod. I think American Legacy Fishing, if you guys ever heard of them, I think they messed up because they had everything on their website 40% off for like a half an hour one day. And me and my buddy just happened to like stumble upon it basically. So I got this for like, if you don't know American Legacy, they have a used section, and this rod was considered mint. So basically brand new. It still had the plastic on the handle. I got this for $150, which is like basically half price. And it was a steal. I couldn't pass it up. So for $150, I got a brand new frog rod. For $170, I got an awesome DC reel. So again, coming in right at about 300, maybe 320. You have a killer combo. So I can't wait to start frogging with this. I might just switch out my other Curado and put it on here so I can flip around with this too, just to get a feel for it before summertime. But seriously, you cannot go wrong with this rod and this reel combo. Next, let's go into another one of my just grab and go combos. This is the 7.2 Heavy Pal Endurance. Awesome rod. You guys have seen it in a million videos if you watch my videos. This was my old frogging rod. I compare it a lot to like a Dobyns rod. It's more like a medium heavy extra fast, but it gets the job done. So this is another great rod that I've been using for like years, at least 2 years, that I've put a ton of fish in the boat on. Like you can just see the cork is just dirty from always holding it. But I've put a ton of fish in the boat on this. This is an awesome frog jig worm rod. It's just, I'll even throw like weightless Senkos on this. It's just an awesome rod. And I have it paired up with the Shimano SLX 150XG DC. Like there's nothing, there's nothing to say about this reel. Like everybody knows SLX DC is a very good reel. I've caught hundreds of fish on this reel too. Next, I'm just going to touch on this one briefly because it's not something I use all the time anymore. This is the 1.3 Omen Black. I think this is the version 2 maybe. This is 610 medium. I don't use it that much anymore. I've got it paired up with a Quantum Icon PT. The reel is actually a great reel. You can find them on eBay for like 50 or 60 bucks. And like, it's an awesome reel for moving baits. But the rod is just not what it used to be. Like I had one and it was a great small crankbait rod. It was a great 1.0 rod. Like that's all I would throw on this rod was 1.0 square bills. And I broke it on a cast. And when 1.3 sent me the replacement, it's still labeled the same rod, but this one's just a lot stiffer. It's a lot stiffer of a medium action. So it's just not, it's almost more like a medium heavy. So I really don't use this anymore. It's basically the reason I went on like a year-long search for a decent crankbait rod, which I showed you earlier. But it's not how it used to be. It used to be a great rod. Then when they sent me the replacement, it was just an okay rod. But the Quantum Icon PT, I've had this reel, like I've had multiple of this reel for years, and it's a great reel. It's never given me any problems, so I love it for moving baits just because it's got that slower gear ratio. But yeah, it's a good combo. And honestly, you could probably find this combo for like 150 bucks, and if you can find it for that price, it's totally worth it at that price. I guess we'll go here next. This is the 7'2" medium heavy Shimano Zodius. This is the first generation that they ever came out with, and it's my favorite rod ever. Next to the Dobyns Sierra BFS rod, I guess. But this rod, like, you can't go wrong with the Zodius. It's just that plain and simple. For 200 bucks, these rods are great. This is 7'2" medium heavy, fast action, so it's my jig worm rod. It's, I use it. Again, it's just that grab and go 7'2" medium heavy. It's a great rod. I've got it paired up with the old Shimano Kanan. I don't make these anymore, but you can still find them like used on the secondary market for like 50 or 60 bucks. And for that price, it's a great reel. Like this is the SLX of probably 8 years ago. And it's awesome. We're getting down to the last few combos. I'm not proud of this one, but this is my Alabama rig rod. I throw Alabama rigs like 4 times a year. So I didn't go all out and buy like the best rod I possibly could find. I went out and spent like $150 and got the combo that like it'll do the job if I needed to. This is a 7.4 Daiwa Tatula. It's the new Tatula. It's the 7.4 heavy. It's a 7.4 heavy. I don't know. And this thing, it throws it throws half ounce to 2 ounces, and this thing is like, it's a beef stick. Like, it'll definitely throw Alabama rigs. I'm also going to use it for like smaller swim baits and glide baits, like, you know, like 1 ounce, that kind of stuff. It's going to do the trick. Like, this thing is, it's beefy. The only thing I don't have a ton of confidence in is the reel, just because it's it's a $100 SLX. Like, it's not going to last me 3 years throwing these kinds of baits, but it'll last me a year, and I'm cool with that. Yeah, I'm probably going to look for a reel for this rod eventually, just because I want something that has gears in it that can hold up to like that kind of basically abuse, throwing those huge baits. But the rod, I actually really, really love. I got it for 90 bucks, and this thing is legit for the price. Like, holding it and just feeling the rod, you would probably think it's like a $150 rod. You would think it's up there with like Shimano Corrado. That's something I like to compare it to. Like, they knocked it out of the park for the $100 price point. All right, now we are down to the last 2 rods. I got a casting rod in my hand, and then there's 1 spinning rod left back there that we'll get to. But this is a rod I hardly ever use, and probably hardly will ever use. This is a 7'1" St. Croix Bass X, medium fast. It's the first generation. Like, I mean, it's just not much to say about it. I think this is probably the best Bass X that will ever come out. I have an old one that I don't use anymore, but I own technically 2 rods that are the first generation Bass X, and it's probably the pinnacle of $100 rods, especially having cork handles. Like, it's just way better than the new one. I had one of the newer ones. I guess it's the 3rd generation with the red labeling, and the tip snapped. So it's just like, it's just not the same as, I don't know how to explain it. It's just St. Croix's not making rods like they used to. I had a couple of Victory rods too that just were like, I wasn't impressed with them. So I decided to hang on to this one for a little while longer, just because it's going to be my popper rod for this year. I've got a Lew's LFS reel paired up with this, and I've got like 30 or 40 pound braid that I'm just going to throw poppers on with it this year. I've always wanted a dedicated popper rod, and I figured, I had the reel laying around, I had the rod laying around, I might as well just throw the 2 together and finally have that dedicated combo. And this is a great combo for it. The rod is very soft in the tip. I don't know if you guys can see this, but like, very, very soft in the tip. Like, it's almost a crankbait rod. Yeah, but I mean, like, you can't go wrong. Like, you could probably I got the rod for like 60 bucks, and then I got the reel for like 70. So for 130, you can have an awesome like budget crankbait setup, but then you can also throw poppers on it. So I love it. I wish they made them like they used to, like, sounding like an old man. I just wish they made the rods like they used to make them with a good quality, but it is what it is. I'm happy to have a couple that I can hold on to forever. Last but not least is my very first ever spinning rod that I ever bought. And I still use it. This is the 7-foot FX Extreme Angler Series. This is 7-foot medium fast, paired up with a Shimano Noski 2500. Killer. Like, one of the best like medium power spinning combos you could buy. The rods retail at $190. I got very lucky in getting it off of Facebook Marketplace for 50 bucks. For 50 bucks, like, this rod is like the one of the best deals I've ever found. It's extremely sensitive. I would buy more FX Extreme rods if they just made them in cork. They use, I think they transferred over to like wind grips now, but if they used cork handles, like there's a very real chance that my whole arsenal will be FX Extreme rods, just because like the quality at the price point, it's there. It's like, it's awesome. I love, like, there's not much else you can say about it. It's just the quality's there for the price. And then obviously the Noski workhorse reel. It's a great reel. This went down to Florida with me, and I was catching bass on a spinning rod down there, just skipping a Senko, flipping a Senko on it. It's just like, it's a workhorse reel. It's not a finesse reel like the Maraville is. It's more of like that heavy duty, like the Maraville is like a Corrado 70 MGL. Very light, meant for lightweight baits. This is more like a Tranx. More heavy duty, like you can just tell like this is not a great finesse reel, but it's a great reel for like skipping Senkos basically, which is what I'm gonna do with this all year because it's an awesome rod and reel combo for that. I'm in this combo for 150 bucks and there's no way I'll ever get rid of it just because it's like it's worth this combo. I wouldn't let it go. Like it's just worth more than that to me. It's such a great combo, and these rods definitely have like a custom feel to them. It doesn't feel like a production rod, even though I'm pretty sure it is, but it's like, this rod is like, I really, really wish they made them in cork still because I would buy a ton of them. This rod is super, super sensitive for what the price is. Yeah, so probably 10 out of 10 recommend the rod. The reel is great, probably 9 out of 10 too. So yeah, it's crazy. This spinning rod is going to get so much use when the warm weather starts to come around and I can finally use Senkos again. Like it's going to get so much use. I can't wait. And there you have it. That is the 2024 Cousins Fishing Rod and Reel Arsenal video. I didn't count, but I think there's probably 10 or 12 rods. I can't wait to fish with all of them. Obviously, I just can't wait to fish in general. I've been fishing my local lake here the past few days because it's been in the 60s and I've been tearing them up. So hopefully we get some more videos coming out to you soon. Yeah, it's just a fun time. I can't wait. I can't wait for summer. I'm like everybody else on the planet. I can't wait for warm weather and to just go out there and fish every single day after work. So if you guys want to see some more fishing videos or want to see a Rod and Reel Arsenal video next year, go ahead and just subscribe because, you know, like we all fish the same areas. I'm sure if you see in this video, you're fishing like Brookville and the Ohio River and all the stuff basically around the Cincinnati area. So you might as well just subscribe, you know? So as always, I appreciate you guys watching and I'll catch you next time.